Oh, cool.
We didn't even get
Hey, what's up, everyone?
I didn't even give the intro. We didn't even do it. We didn't even do the countdown or nothing.
That's just like it. So
I'm trying to add it on the.
Dude,
I don't know.
We're about to go live. We're about to go. There we are.
Hey, how you doing? We're live. What? That was a weird look you gave me. Sorry. Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Gary Horton. This is Pro Wrestling, and these are my pro wrestling friends. This is Will Martin. Hey, Will.
Hey.
This is Dr. Stinson. What an awkward way to just start the show.
It's okay. You just mix it up a little bit, as Red Velvet would say. Straight out of your mama's kitchen. We just mixed it up a little bit, baby. That's all we did.
Does she do it this way, or does she do it this way?
She does that. She does that, but because
you just did it like this, like
I'm dealing with both a Bennett.
Like you're a witch and you're doing like a big spatula, or something else.
Look, man, I'm hurt. I'm doing a show hurt. I'm running a 98-degree temperature right now.
Oh,
I've got a Bennett's fracture. Look at that. Look at that on my hand. Look at that. You see that? How it like changes color. I've got a Bennett's fracture here and a boxer's fracture right here, and I get that from when I'm angry and I punch the meat.
Wife.
The slab. Nah.
You got two BFs? You got two BFs?
It was a joke. It was a joke. He doesn't really hit his wife. Better not. Anyway, wow, I just killed the whole mood.
Yep, killed the vibe, man.
I'm so sorry.
I wasn't even having a drink tonight, but you know what?
You weren't going to have one, but you had a prepared one right there beside you.
It was a backup.
Oh my god! Well,
in case things go like Sunday and you need one.
Anyway, well, how's everybody doing? It's good to see you all. It's good to see you, Ryan. Rock says it's good to see you, James Lawrence. Everybody in the chat, everybody who's not in the chat, who's watching, thank you all for being here today. Make sure you hit the subscribe if you're new. Make sure you hit like if you haven't done that already. We appreciate you all. I sound like a robot. I can't get out of this. Why? I killed the whole vibe because I made a stupid joke. Then Rob just got quiet. Now I don't know what I'm doing. Now we're live on national YouTube, and I don't
worldwide YouTube.
Not even national. It's worldwide YouTube, and I'm looking like a fool.
You're basically
in front of everybody, just like last Sunday and the week before that.
Right. You're basically no better than Bruce Pritchard right now.
Whoa. Why are you bringing Bruce Pritchard into this? We don't even speak his name. He's like the Voldemort of this podcast, of this show. Especially since you wear that shirt.
What are you talking about? This shirt right here? You can get this shirt too from
It's a hologram.
It's a hologram shirt, a hologram special, but it's real. And if you move and you can actually see through your entire body, like you're seeing straight through my torso there.
You can see the This Is Pro Wrestling logo.
Yeah,
that's cool, man.
Yeah, this is like a collab. It's a limited edition.
Have you ever seen a man's soul on national YouTube? Here it is,
worldwide YouTube,
just right through.
Not to add insult to injury, Gary, but it doesn't sound like your mic is working. Like it sounds like you're just coming through your webcam. So you might want to check that. I just want to let you know right up front so you don't do the whole show that way and then go back and kick yourself for it. I'm trying to help you.
Well, this wasn't right up front, Will. Right up front would have been the 15 minutes we were hanging out before we started the show.
Well, I thought we were, to be fair, I thought we were still in that time, but you just hit the live button and we were just here worldwide. So I didn't really think about it.
And the funny thing, here, what y'all, listen, people, this is what I have to deal with. So they were hanging out before the show. You know, when they send me the link, we're supposed to go on live at 6:05. I get that link at 6.
Is that working?
6:03. Not 6:03.
Plenty of time. That's plenty of time. Well, if it makes you feel any better, it was just me in here.
Hello.
I was just sitting here. Yeah, I hear you.
I saw that. Will. You're like, hey, it was just me in here, right, Gary? I saw that.
Well, no, this is what happens. I always sign in, and then Gary's here, but he's got his camera off and his mic off. And then today it was like that, and then he just left. So I was like, all right.
Do you think I'm going to buy that? Look, I'm looking directly at you. You think I'm going to buy that? I see you.
Oh, this is what the people tune in for. This is why we're the hottest wrestling YouTube channel around.
Oh, thanks to all 7 of you that are watching. Share this out. Listen, it gets better from here. We're just getting going. Share this out. Let's get the Wrestle fam in here, and let's talk some pro wrestling. It's our midweek pro wrestling hangout time. This is valuable. This is what we need. This is what we need as
on everything you missed.
This is what we need like in the world right now. We need this time. This time is important. And I'm not being over dramatic. It's important.
It doesn't feel like you're being over dramatic to me.
I'm not saying we're important. I'm just saying this time is important.
Let me tell you before. No, he's absolutely right, Gary. I can't stand when you contradict Will like that. Disrespect.
You want to be the
Rob?
You want to be the Rob? You want to be the pot or the kettle on that one?
It's like, hey, before Petra was born, no joke. Before Petra was born, Tanya and I would go out every Wednesday night. We would go out to a local comedy club called JJ's Bohemia. It's not a comedy club. It's like a little local bar, a dive bar, really. It's a great place. It's one of the oldest dive bars in Chattanooga. But we go to this live local comedy show called Free Kittens. And it didn't cost anything to go in. You know, you got refreshments there, adult refreshments, and you enjoy yourself. But we felt like we needed that, man. Midweek, you're hanging out with your people, your boys. That's back when me and Tanya was boys, you know. And, you need this. You need this midweek fill up. This is like a, midweek Bible study, the midweek tune up, as it were.
I was going to grab my pro wrestling FAQ. It's just out of arm's reach, but that would be our PW Bible.
Hey, I got it right here.
You got it.
Nobody needs Whiskey Gary Nation show. Whiskey Gary get too rowdy. We're taking it light and easy on a Wednesday.
I like when Whiskey Gary shows up like roughly 7 minutes before we're supposed to go off the air. because one thing, Whiskey Gary is a lot of things. One of them is not a person that pays attention to the time.
Yeah. Whiskey Gary is a lot of things, but one of them is not in a hurry. You know what I mean?
There you go.
Hey, let me plug something real quick before we
I
jump
don't have to take
it.
this abuse.
Man, we love you. We love you. That's what you're here for, man. That's what you're here for.
Yeah.
You know you like. Look at you giggling.
And this is what the people are here for too. So you just gotta take it.
Let me plug this real quick. Just got this in. I ordered it a while back. This is the new Tim Hornbaker book. And you can see this is a special hologram edition. But this is Master of the Ring. It's called the biography of Nature Boy Buddy Rogers. I would call it the definitive biography of Nature Boy Buddy Rogers. I've had it. I got it 2 days ago. I'm on page 176, chapter 12. It is phenomenal. You want to talk about, it's a biography, but it reads like a back room promoter's perspective, worker's perspective of the NWA. It is a phenomenal read. I'm learning so much that I never knew. Anytime Tim Hornbaker, you got to have this, man. That goes without saying. You got to have the FAQ. This isn't the Bible. But Tim Hornbaker, this right here is made for public consumption. Tim Hornbaker's writing is made for grad school. Okay, and I know if James Lawrence is in the chat, he knows it. These books are college level material stuff. It's good stuff. Get it, read it, digest it. He writes in such a readable manner. Amazing writer, amazing talent, phenomenal amount of knowledge. Maybe the most knowledgeable man. His knowledge is on par with like Dave Marquez and some of those other insiders. He has got the scoop. And it's a fantastic read. And like I said, I've only had it for a couple of days, and I'll finish it tomorrow. It's a great book. Please get it. Support Tim Hornbaker and his scholarship so that we can get more phenomenal books like that, more and more research. He's been working on this thing for years, and it just came to print right before Christmas, and it is 5-star excellent. 5-star excellent.
I was curious about that book. I'd like to read it. So it goes a little deeper than just Buddy Rogers, you'd say?
Oh, absolutely. All of his. Now he's got multiple. If you read any of his baseball books, he uses Buddy Rogers as sort of the vehicle. It's like when you watch a historical drama, yeah, you've got some characters and you've got some different, romance and this that are playing, but it's against a historic backdrop. And so Nature Boy Buddy Rogers' career plays out against the historic backdrop of the rise of the NWA and the emergence of the WWF. And it is absolutely astonishing. This is a phenomenal book. I give it my absolute highest rating. It's incredible. Make sure you get your hands on a copy. And it's only, I think it's like $25. It's not that, $22.95. It's $22.95. Well worth every penny.
Nice. All right.
Did you? Is it on Amazon, or you have to order it from a?
I think you might be able to get a backhand copy or a Kindle edition. I like to have paper. I write my stuff, so I like to have paper. I think the Kindle's available. Lawrence can tell you. I think the Kindle version is available on Amazon, but you have to go to Crowbar Press, the Crowbar Press website. If you just Google Master of the Ring, Tim Hornbaker, it'll take you to the link. And I ordered it and I had it in 3 days. So fantastic.
Nice. Yeah. I see the Kindle version up on Amazon. It's $8.49 or no, $9.99, I think, but which is a good deal too. But I'm with you, man. I like having the physical editions of those books as well. Like my Brian Solomon books, I had to have physical. I also bought a Kindle version of those too, though, so I could move them around easier sometime. Have you seen those people that split books in half?
You look at the Solomon book, and this is kind of how I engage in dialogue. If you look close, man, you can even see.
Yeah, it looks great.
Well, if you could see, you would see my notes, like my handwritten notes here. That's mine. My yellow highlights. I dissect these books. And I've got a copy that he sent to me autographed that I don't touch, but to me, books are like they're like friends. They're meant to converse with, and there are some books that I have like running debates with. And that's how you. Some people can do the Kindle thing, and it's great, and you can even take notes. But for me, like my learning style is such that I have to physically engage with it. I have to put pen to paper. I have to I have to touch it. If I touch it and I'm thinking about it and I'm seeing it all at the same time, I'll remember it.
That's how I am about a lot of things. Anyway, wow.
So. Yeah, it's funny. I'm actually auditory. Like that's how I process stuff. So I'm like, it's not as flashy, but I mean, audiobooks for me are like, if I want to consume the information and remember it, that's the way to go. But if I'm like looking at a book a lot of times, like I like to have the physical book, like, but almost as like just to have it like a souvenir almost. But I'll kind of do the same thing Gary was talking about, but I'll get like the audio version and the physical copy, and I'll like listen to it because sometimes I'll be reading the actual book and it's like if there's like a sound going on, I get distracted and like I'll read the same page and it'll take me like you talk about reading a book in like 3 days. I'm like, dude,
well,
that's crazy because I could.
I'd like to do a. I'm gonna turn my background off real quick just for a second, my green screen. Just so I can show you something. So when I'm engaging, whoa, my hair looks rough, boy. Anyway, when this is something I tell my students when I'm reading, and if time is not an issue, like with some of these books that I read for joy and pleasure and just self-enrichment, I will read it quick, and then I'll come like I did with the Brian Solomon. I've read the Brian Solomon book multiple times. Read it first to read it. And then the second time I'm going back to engage it. And then I will take notes, and I'm going to show you just a page in my notebook. This is a method. If you can see that, this is something I teach my students. It's called the Collier method. And basically, you separate your page. You draw a line down the page. You've got one column here. And then the major portion of the page is where you're going to take all your notes on what the author is saying. And then in the side column is where you're going to, make topic headings, organize your thoughts. And that's where you're going to dialogue and debate and throw up points of contention and possible questions to go back and look at later. And I teach my students to do this. I've always kind of done that. And, I've been doing it for years, and I think it's good. But
I was trying to get the screen on you to show a close up. There you go.
You can buy little sticky tabs like that. But, let me just show you, like when we did our special show on the 7 levels of hate. This is something that, we spent a lot of time talking with J Cal on, and there's some good research out there, but you want to cover the facts. And then you can ask your questions and pose your thoughts in the column. And so that, your column is not primary, it's secondary to the whole thing, but it's a good quick reference. You can date things, you can organize it by topic. And that's how, if you really want to get into it, and James Lawrence is doing the NWA Gold thing right now. He's putting up lots of good tidbits and stuff like that. If you guys really want to get into the nitty gritty of things, I would encourage you to get some of these books. Don't take the time to be too preoccupied with note taking first. Read it first, enjoy it, and then go back and take notes on it. Go back and write in the margins and dialogue with the author, and then. As you're doing that, you can take notes on your third reader. You can take notes as you're actually going through it. And that's kind of what I do. But, books are tools. They're also friends. And there's nothing wrong with engaging with authors. I mean, these guys wrote books, and that's cool. But, hey, I've written a book, and I guarantee you there are mistakes in my books.
All right, everybody. That was Rob Stinson's pitch for new host of Reading Rainbow. Thank you, Rob. We'll be in touch.
We'll be in touch. Yeah.
Man. No, what's up, you beautiful people? Hey, I want to give a quick shout out to Sam's Figs and Chris Wrestling Views. Thank you, guys. I think this may be, pardon me if it's not the first time you've stopped by, but it's good to see you guys. Thanks for hanging out with us. Everybody say hello to those folks. And we're happy to have all of you here. And you just missed Rob. Show them the book one more time. The new one from Tim Horton.
I'm gonna turn my screen off again one more time, just so it doesn't interfere. Oh.
I just wanted to make sure we got a good pitch in.
No, absolutely.
What's up, Rusty?
So here's some books you need in your collection, and they're all very affordable. The one that just came out is by Tim Hornbaker. It's called Master of the Ring. It's got a nice picture of Buddy Rogers there on the front. This is the definitive biography of Nature Boy Buddy Rogers. Tim Hornbaker is probably the most indispensable historian for NWA fans right now. He's phenomenal. His writing is absolutely just spot on, man. And he is. When people have questions, I mean, Dave Meltzer goes to Tim Hornbaker. You know what I'm saying? This guy is the guy who can clarify many debates. His most important book is this one right here. It's called National Wrestling Alliance, the untold story of the monopoly that strangled pro wrestling. And that sounds kind of negative, but he's a pro NWA guy. He loves the NWA. He loves Nick Aldis. And this is the graduate level indispensable book. The book that we probably use the most on our show, though, and probably the most accessible, is going to be this book by Brian Solomon, who's a friend of our show. Great guy, contributor to PWI, used to be a senior author and writer for WWF's magazine or WWE's magazine. And this is Pro Wrestling FAQ. You will hear Will Martin refer to this as the Pro Wrestling Bible often, and it's true. It's an excellent book, but it's much more user-friendly. You're going to have glossy pages, color photos, lots of little vignettes. It's a great, great book to have on your shelf. And if you can add these 3 books to your shelf, man, you're off to it. You're going to know more than most wrestling fans know if you just get these 3 volumes. And then Crowbar Press, the book that has produced, or the company that has produced Hornbaker's latest edition, Crowbar Press, they have got massive amounts of phenomenal wrestling books. A book written by Lou Thez, books written by the Fargos, by Nikita Koloff, by Stan Hansen. I mean, they've got some fantastic books, all history related with a definite bent towards the NWA. So I can't recommend those guys enough.
Thank you, Chris, for subscribing. We appreciate that, brother. Thank you so much. And thank you, Rob, for showing off those books. We want to give a shout out to those books because it's good to have this knowledge. If we're here for celebrating wrestling and especially learning more and more about it. Speaking of learning more about it, fellas, we're like 20 minutes in officially. I think that it's time that we go in the loop. Love it. I love it. It's so fancy. Where do we begin?
We should all be doing like newscast poses when it ends. That was not. What is? I don't know. Go ahead, Gary.
I don't know. I don't know what a newscast post is, Will. We didn't talk about it beforehand. You just brought it up, and I don't know. What's a newscast pose?
We don't talk about anything beforehand.
Sure. Yeah. Extra, extra. Stop the presses. We just got this in. Just right now, you guys, you need to know.
Where do you watch the news?
Moose over at Impact Wrestling. Have you heard the news? Moose is set to become a free agent in June of this year. That's according to Fightful Select. There's no word yet on if the self-proclaimed TNA World Heavyweight Champion will be re-signing with the company or not. There had been some speculation on Moose re-signing for 2 years already. Don Callis noted during Hard to Kill that Moose was signed to a 2-year contract, which was done to try to get Moose to take it easy on AEW World Champion Kenny Omega. But he previously had announced a 2-year contract in 2019, which led people to believe that Callis's line at Hard to Kill was a reference to Moose re-signing for another 2 years. That is not the case, though. According to Fightful Select, he signed in 2019, and it's set to expire this summer. And he's only one of several Impact wrestlers that will see their Impact contracts expire during the first half of 2021. So there you go. Moose could be a free agent soon enough. Should he take the open market? I throw it to you, Rob. What do you think? Moose, free agent? No. Yes. Go.
No way. There's no way he's leaving. There's no way. He's going to be in Impact for a long, long time. They'd be a fool to let him go. I think he's potentially the biggest star, and who in the world would not want to see the ultimate inevitable showdown between Moose and Kenny Omega?
Kenny Omega can fight Moose in AEW. Will he fight him in AEW or Impact? Will, go.
Oh gosh, you're waiting.
You missed the whole show because I can.
That's just too excitable for me. We need to bring it down a couple of levels. No, I agree with Rob. I think that what he should do, and now, if he goes and goes to AEW or NXT or something like that, like obviously good for him. He is, as we, were made aware of when we watched Hard to Kill, he's a superstar, and he's the sky's the limit for this guy. I think the right thing to do would be to stay in Impact and become the guy in Impact, because he's that caliber of a guy, and I think Impact needs a guy like him on their full-time roster, not popping in from AEW every once in a while. And as much as I can't wait to see an inevitable showdown between him and Kenny Omega, I think even bigger things are in his future if he stays at Impact and becomes that top guy, because I think he's got the potential to do that.
Man, I tell you what, people could call me crazy, but if I'm Impact Wrestling, I build around Moose. That's what I do. You start working with Moose and work out from there. Like Moose is hot stuff. Like especially after Hard to Kill, that dude showed out on Hard to Kill. He looked amazing. He looked like the top star, and you strap a rocket ship to that guy because he's like. He literally looks like he could be the next Goldberg or something over there, like some huge star for Impact. I say they do whatever they got to do to keep Moose. That's me.
He could be Goldberg, but unlike Goldberg, this guy's a 5-tool athlete. He can talk, he can work, he can cut promos. He's got a speed and agility, and he's got the look. Man, he looks like a Greek god. You're absolutely right, Gary. They need to build Impact around Moose. And I think all of us kind of secretly, even if you don't acknowledge it, I think we all believe that.
Yep.
Look at that guy. He is just ready. He is just ready to be the top dog in a promotion.
And I'm telling you this too. We've talked a lot about, and as we always say, it's no shade on Impact. We've been maybe a little too critical just because it hasn't been a focal point of the three of us when it comes to pro wrestling, but we are, doing our due diligence to become educated in Impact Wrestling and what's going on in the wrestling landscape. But I can tell you this, if Impact does what we just mentioned, they re-sign him, build the promotion around him, make him the guy to see, I'm going to be a lot more likely to tune in. That's just me personal. So if they're looking to get new eyeballs on the product, which they did at Hard to Kill, and they showed out with Moose specifically in that main event, then I think that's the way they got to go.
Yeah. And Ryan pointing out Moose has been around seemingly forever, but yeah, for some reason, the guy has just blown up these last couple of months. Like he's just become a superstar. Like it's just like he found his groove or something. And Chris saying, I'll say he'll be like Lashley in Impact, but better. Yeah, I mean, same demeanor as Lashley right now, which I love the Lashley that's going on in WWE with the Hurt Business right now. But that's exactly, Moose could be like that top, just cooler than cool, just quiet, but knows how to deliver those soft-spoken promos. He's got like that. The way he talks right now is the same way Roman Reigns talks when he delivers a promo, just like a very calm, direct approach to. He just knows he's bad, and he doesn't have to yell. He doesn't have to fuss about it.
It's a quintessential part of wrestling. You've got the different characters, and you've got the larger than life Ric Flair, loud, excited all the time guys. But then on the flip side, you've got those guys like him that are strong, silent type, and gets his work done in the ring. Doesn't make his promo any less effective because that's part of his demeanor. That's part of the mystique, I guess, to Moose as a wrestler, is that you're gonna get the quiet Moose on the mic, but you're gonna get the badass in the ring. So that's a really cool dynamic that I love in pro wrestling. I think it's necessary, and I think there's not a lot of it out there. I think that's one of the reasons that Roman Reigns has seemingly jumped to a different level since this heel turn of his, because that specific niche in wrestling has really been underutilized.
Yeah, I think there's something about like Moose's interview style, his promo style, where he comes across as more composed and deliberate, and that works for him. I mean, back in the 80s, Flair was the greatest, man, but part of his demeanor was he was always on the verge of losing, and he kind of knew it. I mean, don't get me wrong, I think Flair was very aware of his greatness, but in terms of story writing, he knew he was always just that close from losing to Ronnie Garvin or Ricky Steamboat or Dusty Rhodes, and the flamboyantness of it was almost like it betrayed maybe a bit of insecurity. I don't know. I don't want to sound, because Flair's the greatest of all time, but Moose, it's like Moose is preeminently, supremely confident in himself, and that is manifest in his tone, in his expression, in his demeanor. He says it, he believes it, it's emphatic. In his mind, there's no doubt, and I just can't picture Moose like losing his mind like Flair would. I just can't picture it. It wouldn't seem right.
I'm totally on board with you. I just love that. Like, even when on a recent episode, I was watching clips of Impact, and like Swan's in his face, like he just doesn't ever change that demeanor. He's just got a very now hold on now. I'm going to be coming for you in that title. It's just like, I don't know. It just doesn't lose his cool about anything.
And that's scarier than if he was like yelling for some reason. You know what I mean? It's more intimidating.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's see what else is up on the docket here. I guess now would be a good time. We're going 15 minutes out from 7 p.m. Some of you will probably lose to MLW. We hope you stay with us. MLW is on demand after all. But if you decide you want to check out MLW, we can't hate. MLW is awesome right now. And so we'll run through a quick preview of that. This week on MLW, you got, after stealing the IWA Caribbean Heavyweight Championship last year, Richard Holiday is going to be knocking on hell's door, according to a press release from MLW, when he defends his unrightfully unclaimed title against its former longest champion, Savio Vega, at a Caribbean strap match. Vega laid out the challenge last week, calling Holiday a thief who has no right to defend a title that he did not successfully win. Holiday fired back against Vega's claims and said that he spoke to his father/lawyer about the matter and decided to go against his wishes and defend the title in these gruesome circumstances. Will Holiday retain, or will Vega bring the title home? Also announced this week is TJP and Buku Dao will challenge Violences Forever. That's Dominic Garini and Kevin Koo in the tag team title eliminator match. The winning team will face Los Parks for the MLW Tag Team Championship at a later date. You'll also see Los Parks tonight as they make their first comment since winning the MLW Tag Team Championships. Also, not only, by the way, this IWA Caribbean Championship match, this is going on MLW tonight, but it's one of two title matches. Neither are MLW titles. You're also going to see a AAA Cruiserweight Championship title match. And the Laredo Kid is going to be defending against Zenshi, which is cool too. So like two title matches. MLW is reaching out. I saw some stuff with Court Bauer saying he was also looking for these crossover opportunities to do some things. So he's grateful to folks like AAA for being willing to work with him and sharing in the excitement. So that's going to be kind of cool. And finally, Filthy Tom Lawler will address the Filthy Island rumors. I've been hearing stories that it's very well maintained. He will address those rumors, and we'll find out if Filthy Island really is filthy. Anyway, by the way, Savio Vega, that strap that he's bringing, he says is the very same strap he used 26 years ago in his match against Stone Cold Steve Austin in their infamous strap match. So kind of fun.
Yeah, it's a good lineup. And of course, they're on literally every platform: YouTube, BN Sports, DAZN, the Roku channel, YouTube, Fubo. If you have a microwave that has a little screen on it, it'll be on there. If you have a smartwatch, you can watch it on your smartwatch. You can. It's probably just projected on a random wall in every house. They are the most accessible wrestling promotion out there.
Yeah,
So,
I see Chris Wrestling Views on there. You haven't seen MLW before. Yeah, they are everywhere. And not only, I mean, they didn't mention him at all on there, but also Hammerstone is on MLW Fusion as well. And if you haven't seen Hammerstone, well, he's a god of wrestling. So you have to check him out. And anyway, MLW is fun, man. It's a fun show. It's a quick, easy watch, an hour every week. And since you're on YouTube right now, might I suggest that you could find them just as easily as you found us. And we're grateful for you being here. But they're a cool show, man. I enjoy MLW.
And I believe I'm looking at my stat book right here. This is the first time that we've had a Caribbean strap match in the Great Lakes region of the Northeast. First time, at least first time since 1913.
That is interesting. How did you? Yeah, I was about to say, was that in like Pro Wrestling FAQ? Where did that go from?
In the Canadian strap match chapter.
That's right. Yeah.
This is where you get that kind of information, people.
The Caribbean strap match is the most brutal form of the strap match, by the way, because it's
okay.
It's Caribbean.
It sounds like the best one, like the most exotic.
You would think. One would think, but this is a
vacation.
This strap is in a humid climate, so it's nice and moist, and boy, it's going to leave welts. Whereas the Canadian strap match, that joker is dry. It hits you when it hits you. It's like getting hit with a wiffle ball bat. One of the funny ones.
I just like hanging out and letting you continue this riff here.
Rob, what would a South American what would a European strap match be?
They're rough. They're rough.
European.
They're rough. Yeah, they're rough. Lots of humidity over there in the old world.
The old world.
Yeah.
All right. Well, the real news this week, fellas, I figure we might as well just jump into it. Is the big one is WWE sold the rights to the in America. We should specify in the U.S. the WWE Network is gone as of March, like March the 7th or 18th. I can't remember which it was now. I've been watching this. This is happening for a lot of people, these streaming services. And so the WWE Network, all of the content, 17,000 hours worth of stuff or something like that. I think I read. I should have pulled up the specifics here. But it is all going over to the Peacock Network, just streaming channel owned by NBC Universal. And that channel is already currently available. It's like $4.99 monthly for ads, an ad version of it. Which if you ever use something like Hulu or something, you're probably familiar with that. It shows ads in between. So it has commercial breaks. But then also you can pay $10 a month and get it ad free. And that is going to include everything. That's going to include all of Peacock's already their huge amount of stuff. We have Peacock already because my wife is a diehard Office fan. So we still just have the Peacock network. But now you're going to get WWE, everything on the WWE network. So it's technically saving me money that they're jumping over there. And that's going to include all of the pay-per-views, including WrestleMania this year is going to come on. No added cost, just having a subscription to Peacock. So for $5 this year, you could be watching WrestleMania. That it's pretty impressive. They are paying WWE, I think it was $5 billion. Was that right? Or something insane like that? Yeah. And wow. Anyway, so do you guys have any thoughts on that? I just wanted to throw that out there.
Yeah, I mean, I'm also a Peacock customer. I got it to watch the Premier League soccer games, and I enjoy it. There's a lot of really good programming on there. I mean, the one that gets the most press was The Office when they switched over in the new year from Netflix. But I mean, there's a lot of good shows. There's some Peacock original shows, a couple of them that I binge watched that were really good. Mr. Mercedes is on there. It's like a serial killer. I think it's like a Stephen King novel that they turned into a show, and it's really good. So it's got a lot of really good programming. They actually already have, and I thought this was pretty cool when I first got on there, but they've got WWE programming on there already. They've got like the Monday Night Wars series is on there. The Untold Stories series with some kind of docu-style things. So they were already kind of partnered with WWE for a limited amount of stuff. But this is just kind of one of those things, like I feel like everybody wins. Like unless I'm just missing something, if you're paying $10 a month for the WWE network, you can pay the exact same thing to get it ad-free on Peacock. So you're not, I mean, it's not like you got to pay more for it. You just switch over and you get a bunch of other content too. And then even from WWE standpoint, I mean, they're making all this money, but they're also not going to have to run a streaming network anymore. So if you can imagine like the billing, the technical aspect, the maintaining the servers and all that kind of stuff, that goes away. So it's just going to streamline a lot of stuff. So I think it's pretty cool.
I was looking at this, and just to clarify, I said $5 billion, but it's like $1 billion is how much it is. It's $1 billion. They also, by the way, just to throw it at Front Row says $1.1 billion over 5 years was the amount. And pointing out that WWE also got $1 billion for SmackDown from Fox and had previously gotten $1.6 billion for Raw on USA as well. So WWE's not going anywhere, no matter what they do. Like they could literally hire just like a chimpanzee to sit at the writer's desk and just smear poop on a paper, and they will stay in business for like 10 to 20 more years, no problem.
And I'll add that we're not sure that that's not what they do currently. So that might not be that far off, but yeah, that's true.
Yeah. But yeah, so I was looking at this earlier, and it was like that over 5 years. And sorry, Rob, I'll throw to you here too. But the over 5 years is like 200 million a year. Basically, it said I think Meltzer reported something. It was probably like less at first, and it builds over time per year, but that's essentially what it is. And right now on the WWE network, they were making like 150 million a year or somewhere around that area. So this is actually even a raise for them. Like technically year to year, they're just taking like a steady paycheck instead of a gamble on any of this, on people, churn and people dropping off. And anyway, so there you go. WWE, say what you will. They are in the money. They're making bank.
Yeah, and I think any move that benefits the consumer is a good thing. And you mentioned $5 billion at first and corrected yourself, but when you're in the billions, 1 billion and 5 billion is the same, man. It's the same.
If you got a billion, you got 5.
If you got 1, you got 5, bro. You know what I'm saying? So it's
That's what I said when I made my first billion.
I was listening. I was listening to a thing right before we came on tonight. It was like Brian Alvarez and Mike Sempervidi on the Wrestling Observer Radio, and they were talking about this. And Brian Alvarez was complaining about like, no, somebody sat down and they did the math of this. Is they're paying like each customer. This is technically like they're paying like $1,500 a year or something for each customer. So it was something weird. He was trying to do the math or something. He's like, it doesn't make any sense. Like, why are they not charging extra for the pay-per-views? And like NBC Universal is, he's like, it's a great deal for the consumers, but it's not it doesn't make any sense. And Mike Sempervidi was essentially, to Rob's point, he was just like, Brian, you're talking about like people playing with billions of dollars. You're in a different ball game now. Like he's like, this is not. It doesn't work logically the same way it does for everyone else anymore.
I will also add to your point. I mean, to my understanding, the pay-per-views will actually still be on traditional pay-per-view. I mean, they'll be on Peacock as well, the same way they're on the WWE Network. But they'll also be, and I don't know what their actual pay-per-view numbers are. I don't know who's still paying like $60 for the Royal Rumble when you can watch it for $10. But apparently it's lucrative enough for them to still air it that way. So I think it'll still be available on like traditional cable and satellite pay-per-view. So there's that. But again, in the world today, and as much money as they're making on these TV, and streaming deals, I don't think they're sweating, losing some pay-per-view buys, because I think they're coming out on top with that deal.
Yeah, there is for the record too, this could just be the beginning. The Wrap had an article up today too, quoting from Brandon Thurston of WrestleNomics, talking about the quote they led with is, "Why would you lease properties when you can own them? And you probably want to own them indefinitely." And so the article is basically about Vince McMahon's winding down. This could very much lead to a scenario where this company just buys the WWE outright. This may just be the first step in that process, that you may start to see the WWE be owned by a huge corporation like a conglomerate.
That's the next logical step. Honestly, yeah. I mean, I don't see any. I don't, at the level that WWE is. I don't see when that torch is handed off. I don't see it being to like an individual or you know what I mean. I mean, it's going to be for as much as that company's worth, it's going to have to be like a giant corporation, like NBC, like Disney, ESPN, like something like that. So, I mean, it is a step in that direction. I'll also add too, another cool thing. If you've ever used Peacock, one of the cool features is they do have like 24-hour channels, right? That's like, so if you like to channel surf, they've got like, a news channel that airs 24/7. They've got like a Saturday Night Live channel that just airs like reruns of Saturday Night Live 24/7. And they're going to have a WWE channel. So this programming will be, kind of put into a schedule and a rotation. And so if you, whenever you want, you can just turn on the WWE channel and they'll be showing random, WWE content. So that's always kind of cool. I kind of like that touch.
That's fun for the throw it on in the background kind of thing. That's
yeah, because sometimes you know how it is. Sometimes you like hop on Netflix and it's like you've got too many choices and you have like, you know, decision fatigue and you're like, I don't want to pick and commit to like, so sometimes it's nice just to have like, okay, let's just go to this channel and let it play, you know?
exactly. For what it's worth, too, just to throw this extra little bit out there, Dave Meltzer reported, too, that now there are issues between WWE and ESPN has issued a mandate throughout its company that they're not to cover anything related to WWE anymore. They were apparently in the discussion before WWE committed to this NBC Universal deal. So
I wonder if they're still on their website. There's a little tab. Let me see if they're on their website still. Yeah, they're still on the website, so they haven't taken that down yet. There's an article right now on the ESPN website on Ric Flair's winning the WWE Championship in '92 at that Rumble. So maybe I wonder if they'll end up scrubbing the website once the word gets around and the order is implemented.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, as much, you know, we give WWE hell a lot and criticize them, but the cool thing about all this, you know, to look at the bright side is it's a big deal that a professional wrestling company made a deal like this. That NBC Universal, who is, you know, leading the way in terms of cable companies with streaming networks, because let's face it, all the other ones suck. I mean, CBS has one, it sucks. ABC has one, there's nothing good on there.
Well, you know, CBS is about to change over in March too. It's becoming Paramount Plus. Like, so they're adding Comedy Central, Nickelodeon, all these other ones in there.
So, I mean, that's the way that TV's going. But the fact that early on in this Peacock deal, because Peacock is less than a year old, it just came out like not that long ago. And the fact that, you know, one of the first big moves they made besides pulling all their Office programming over was to make a deal with a professional wrestling company. So I think that says a lot about the industry and the trajectory that it's on. I mean, you can love or hate the WWE, but they are a beacon for professional wrestling, whether it's your cup of tea or not. And the fact that they're going to have this kind of visibility is a pretty big deal. So it's something to be pretty excited about.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it naturally leads into the discussion about like what does this mean for everyone else? I mean, yeah, I mean we've seen like little teases of this with Primetime Live, for instance, on Fight TV. There's been rumors out there about potential other kinds of things similar to this happening. So like there could be more networks buying up exclusive access to wrestling companies, and of course the one at the head of that right now would be AEW. Probably the discussion would be there is like, is that a possibility? For the record, just to throw this in there, Rob, Meltzer, I'm reading the thing now. It says indicated that there are issues between WWE and ESPN. It's believed that ESPN was a significant part of the WWE network talks before WWE decided on a deal with NBCU for Peacock. Disney is the parent company of ESPN, and there were rumors at one point of Disney/ESPN potentially being interested in WWE, but apparently ESPN found out 3 weeks ago that they were not getting the network deal. And ESPN has pretty much already shut down any WWE coverage. And as of right now, no more WWE content is to air on ESPN. Now, do they get angry and they go buy AEW or like, you know, buy up like exclusive access to AEW? It'd be interesting to see. I don't know. I mean, if you're Tony Khan, I mean, you're open to any offers, I'm sure. Like, you're just interested to see what's out there. But I mean, I'm sure he's not going to sell the company or anything. But I mean,
well, I think the implications for AEW. I mean, they've got a pretty good relationship with Turner, and I think that's going to be a long lasting one. And there's some history there, you know, with that beckons to WCW and things like that. Mm-hmm. But I think the best route for them to go would be for Turner to come up with a streaming platform as well. I mean, something, even if it costs money, because I think that's the way that things are going. And then you begin to build, you know, AEW still in its infancy, but you begin to build a library of pay-per-view events, documentary stuff, that kind of stuff for AEW. And I think now we're moving away from having to have your own streaming network to, if you're partnered with a company like Turner, ESPN, Peacock, NBC Universal, then you can use their platform. But I think that's kind of the way everything's going. And I would predict we'll see that for AEW in the next 3 years, probably. There will be some kind of streaming platform that Turner is spearheading, and there'll be a big part of that, sort of like WWE is with Peacock.
Yeah, I think, a lot of people in the industry are predicting like the next 2 years are going to be a big deal. So you kind of nailed it down there. Just next 2 to 3 years are going to be a huge deal to see how the popularity goes with professional wrestling and that sort of thing. Another aspect, well, just to throw to one that was in the chat earlier, as far as employees, I read as part of that deal, nobody even knew. They all found out exactly like we did about the announcement. They were not informed ahead of time. So all of this just showed up to them at the same time. just the big announcement that was made that they sold to Peacock. I don't know what that means for jobs. I have not seen anything about that, so I couldn't speak on it.
If it's any consolation,
to that point, part of me thinks that a lot of that was probably outsourced. So it would probably be more of just cutting some partnerships, not necessarily firing actual WWE employees. And I would hope that if there were internal employees that they could move them around or do something. But that's just the hopeful, wishful thinking side of me.
I was just going to say that if it's any consolation to ESPN, we're taking bids for companies to take our content and we'll do half a. I'm sure I'm speaking for the gentleman here. We'll do it for $500 million.
Yeah, or 1.0 billion, even just a little less.
Just a little less.
Man, I might shoot. Just give me $1 million a year. I'll consider it. Just to start out, just to show you what we're worth.
I mean, they borrowed our concept of a streaming platform. We were
that was our concept. Yeah, we came up with that.
All us. Let's take let me hit one other thing on this, and then we'll go to Chris Wrestling Views question because I'm interested in it. He's a newbie, a brand new guy, so we'll take his question. And I actually have some thoughts on this. I was thinking about it today. But the other aspect of this WWE going to Peacock thing, another thing, Meltzer had. And sorry if you're new here, I do reference Dave Meltzer. I am a subscriber to the Observer, and so I get a lot of my wrestling news there. Sorry, not sorry. I don't care. Anyway, he had referenced previously. All right, we'll see you later, Rob.
He doesn't like Meltzer.
He had mentioned previously that it was completely possible that the Wednesday night wars, these wars tonight, the ones we're anticipating at 8 p.m. this evening, might be dead before they even start, just because he at the time where he first was talking about this said he couldn't confirm anything yet, and then this happened. This is obviously what he was discussing, was because he was saying that essentially NXT on Wednesday nights existed strictly to compete with NXT, or I'm sorry, with AEW. NXT existed to compete with AEW. So what he was driving at there was essentially that the parent company, NBC Universal, is not going to care about that part of it. But being that it is NBC Universal, the stuff I'm seeing today is that nobody's sure yet what that means for NXT on TV. They have not made a decision on that, apparently, is the latest I've been able to find on it. And so they could strictly move NXT to like a platform like streaming channel exclusive only, or they could just, as a favor, just keep it on Wednesday nights and just let it happen. And just, it's also on USA Network on Wednesdays. If it's doing fine, then they might just agree to that. So that's still up in the air.
Well, there's been a lot of talk, I think, about USA, who, is owned by NBC Universal. So it's all the same company, but them not being really happy about AEW winning the demo war every week. And so I think NBC would probably push to move NXT to Peacock exclusively and just stream it live on there every week. Even if it is still on Wednesday nights, like that's fine. But I think they're interested in putting some more sports programming on throughout the week. I know that because NBC, and another important part of all this is after 2021, NBC Sports Network is going away, and they're dispersing all that content between Peacock and USA. So they're trying to establish USA as more of a sports channel. So I think NHL and NASCAR are going to USA. And then some of the soccer stuff is going to Peacock, where a lot of it already lives. And so I think, that's kind of where they're coming from with that. So I wouldn't be surprised if they kind of insisted that NXT goes streaming, and then they're going to put some NHL content or something like that on in that time slot every week.
My understanding of a lot of this is, and just to quickly answer Turbo, what's up, Turbo? It's good to see you, buddy. Is the WWE app going away on the phone as well? He asked. My understanding is yes. I mean, the WWE network is gone completely as of March 18th. It's out of here. You'll likely be prompted to go to the Peacock network or something at the time, but it's just going to be everything's supposed to be moved over at that time.
Well, speaking of apps, this is really weird. It's like, how our phones probably are listening to us. Uh-huh. I just got an alert from the Peacock app on my phone, but it just says, it's just an alert. It just says Peacock. It's like it wanted me to know, like, it's like, hey, I hear you talking about me. Here I am, so.
Yeah. But yeah, I forget where I was going to go right before that, except that, just that, according to the stuff I've been reading, I mean, the major trend right now in this whole game, as far as streaming and cord cutting and everything, is that networks are important, but it's all, well, if I could use this as an opportunity to go back to our friend William Patrick Corgan, the president of the National Wrestling Alliance, as he said sometimes, it takes all the starships forming together to fight the big megalithic starship. In this case, in streaming services, it seems like everything is in existence now to support the overarching umbrella corporation. That is all they're focused on now. So like all the sports stuff that you were just talking about, they've like closed down their sports specific stuff just so they can move it all into where it's most advantageous, they feel like, for each thing. And then it's all going to be under this Peacock umbrella. And then like CBS All Access that exists right now that I have just because I've been watching Star Trek. And that's all going to the Paramount Network. All that's changing over on like March 8th or 7th. And it's and so like Nickelodeon, Comedy Central, CBS, like all of those are under the Paramount umbrella. It's all going in there. So everybody's like trying to bolster the streaming service, the big major streaming service. And supposedly, according to some of the stuff I was reading on the Observer today, is that that's exactly the thinking behind this whole deal, that you put the WWE network and is that just to put it bluntly, I mean, they said it in different words in this. They're just like, wrestling fans are in the income brackets that they're in, and they're going to, they'll take this as a win. They only pay $5 a month, and they get WWE, and that $5 a month is going to be for the Peacock network. And that just adds an extra million or so people subscribing to our network. And right now it's all about those numbers, like how many subscribers are hitting Peacock. And so all they're thinking is all the pay-per-views, all that stuff, anybody that would have hit WWE, we're just looking for the numbers that they had to now be our numbers, essentially.
Again, I mean, anything that benefits the consumer is a good thing. That's just just stands to reason. So,
well, and I'll say this too, kind of bringing it back around to, a lot of the promotions that we cover. We're friends with people over at Fight TV. I love Fight TV. I think this is an opportunity for Fight TV, to be honest, to establish themselves as, the streaming platform for everyone else. You know what I mean? Because I mean, they've already got Ring of Honor. They've got an Impact deal that I honestly wish would expand to showing Impact Live, but I understand there's TV deals for that too. You know, they show AEW pay-per-views on there. So I think this is a great chance. I mean, everything's moving towards streaming. WWE, they're not really, you know, changing the game because they've been doing the WWE network, but they're joining another network. So I think it opens the door for more consolidation of this kind of stuff. So for Fight TV to jump out and say, hey, we're going to be the premier other wrestling streaming source. And I think they're already kind of that, to be honest. But I think it's an opportunity for them to further boost that by pulling in as much as they can from non-WWE promotions and basically saying, hey, if you're a wrestling fan, you need 2 apps, Peacock and Fight TV, you know, and get it all on there. I think that would be cool.
That would be a really good move on their part. And Fight TV, especially, it seems like Fight TV is like specifically trying to niche down. Well, I was going to say they're trying to niche down into combat sports, but they also have concerts and stuff like that. So there are other things on Fight TV, but like right now they're promoting a huge bare knuckle competition that's coming up. And but like you said, I mean, they have Ring of Honor, deal with Impact Plus. They have Championship Wrestling from Hollywood on there. So they've got some things going on for them that they're trying to also like dip their toes into it, but I think more in a niche way than just we're an overarching network, basically. Yeah. For
and then
everything.
you've got Title Match Network too that more specializes more in indie promotions that I think will be a source for a while. I don't see Fight necessarily reaching out. That of course they could, but you know, Title Match they've been a friend of our show and they produce Mission Pro, or they at least stream Mission Pro stuff, and they you know, they're an excellent source of a lot of great independent content out there. I hope they're around for a while as well. And they can also take, you know, take a cue from this as well to start seizing on to consolidate and bring in more independent content from their platform. So you got opportunities here for a lot of people.
And it just proves that there's some money in professional wrestling. So that's the exciting part here. All right. So what else? Also going on right now, not to send you away, but the AEW awards are happening. I just saw the Inner Circle just won Biggest Beatdown. Just to throw that out there. That's happening. I shouldn't have told you that because I'd rather you stay here with us. But
I don't remember what we predicted for that one, but we should have written down our predictions because we did predictions, didn't we, for that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like it, but I forgot to hang on to, unless it's on this notepad. I don't know. Sorry, I just refreshed my Twitter and it's porno because people just randomly retweet porno on Twitter. I don't know. Props to you guys for having
other people. Right, it's other people. It's
I don't even know what accounts you go to on Twitter to find porn. Like it's so weird. Twitter is just
nice, Gary.
Think what your dude DT had to do to get kicked off Twitter when there's like porn out here. Anyway, all right. Anyway,
anything goes. That's why you got to follow Rob Stinson. This is Dr. Stinson. Go follow him on Twitter right now. Where are you at right now, Rob? How many followers do you have?
I'm over 700. I'm more interested. Yeah, I'm over 700. You're like, whoo.
Listen, hey, listen. I'm gonna, as the manager of our online store, I'm gonna declare that if we can get Rob to 1,000 followers, we're gonna do a big giveaway.
Okay,
so
let's do it.
You guys heard it. Share it out. Listen, and I'm not blowing smoke up your ass, Rob, and I'm not being patronizing either. Rob's content, especially the historical content. If you've got friends that like wrestling history, we were talking about this before we came on the air. We have become a source because of Rob for wrestling history to like wrestling journalists. Like they're citing us as a source. So, you know, get that out there. If you got friends that like wrestling history, point them in Rob's direction because
Really more, not so much.
I'm proud of you, Rob, because I remember when you used to call it Tic Tac to be funny, and now you're like super active on there, and it's just I'm like a proud content creator dad. I'm like,
yeah. Well, I would much rather you go over to our TikTok because I'm just downloading what I do on TikTok. I don't care if you follow me on Twitter or not. That's cool. I don't even monitor that, but I really want my TikTok views to get up because the more likes and follows we have, the broader audience we're going to get exponentially because of that. So if we can build up the NWA Pod TikTok page, that's what I'm really at. Right now, we're only at like 60 something. And I hope it's not because I'm downloading that stuff and putting it on Instagram and our Twitter page, but and our Facebook page. But go, man, tell your friends, follow us on TikTok because I really want to get those numbers up. And it's not a vanity project. I don't care, man. I just want people to know what's going on in the history of pro wrestling, and that's our primary venue for doing it. So if you can go and follow us on TikTok, man, I'd appreciate it.
I'm 100% on board with that.
Yeah, I love TikTok. I'm on there constantly.
And
I am not.
Will, you're like it. I remember when you just started just a couple months ago, and you were already at like 5,000 followers. I'm like, how? What algorithm did you crack to get up that big?
Well, listen, man, I don't do a lot of advertising on here, but that's what I do, like professionally, is content marketing, growing your audience, all that kind of stuff. So hit me up if you're trying to grow your channel.
You are as of today, you are at 5,194 followers on TikTok with 30,000 likes. And those are the metrics you want to look at right there. You want to look at those two metrics, and because that's what gets you out there when you're on your page and you're scrolling, you just see random videos. It's those likes and followers that get you on these pages. So, I'm doing different hashtag combinations. I'm trying to look at peak hours to post. During the weekdays, I usually post after 6. On weekends, I'm usually posting throughout the day. But tell your friends, tell your family members, your associates, your colleagues, go follow at the NWA Pod on TikTok. That is the historic arm of This Is Pro Wrestling.
But also follow Rob Stinson on Twitter. Make sure that you're.
You can. That's cool. I don't care so much about that.
I care about
it. Well, I appreciate it, but that's not as big a deal. We need to get those TikTok numbers up, baby. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, and one of the things, because I used to, before you kind of took over our TikTok page, I was dabbling in it a little bit. And, there's an untapped wrestling niche in TikTok. There's not a lot of wrestling crew on there. TikTok has expanded a lot in the last year. It did used to just be like kids doing dances and silly stuff, but like it's really not anymore. So if you thought that's what TikTok was, it has grown in a big way, and there is all kind of content on there. So I would love to see wrestling TikTok become a thing. So there's my plug for that.
You can look at our TikTok and kind of see just a taste of the direction we're going on our Wix page. Will just created it for us. We're going to start doing a lot of blogging, current events, public interest, a lot of historical stuff, just to add to our digital footprint and make it broader, other than just social media content. We want this to be an entertainment venue, an informative venue, and an educational one-stop shop as well. So to the extent that you can, support us in all those areas, that's fantastic. We also have merch, don't we, Will?
Yeah, we do. Check it out. And I don't think we announced this on Sunday. Yeah, I don't think we announced this on Sunday, but our website is now officially tipwshow.com. So matches our handles on social media. So tipwshow.com. Check it out.
It's awesome. We need to find a fast way to the blog, I feel like. But I think I'm not freaked out by the poor Rusty. Thank you. But
he's used to it.
Yeah.
He manages our Twitter account. He's used to it.
It's just how it is.
He also manages our OnlyFans account. So
yeah. all of our Pornhub uploads come straight from me. So it's just really just anyway. Well, I guess it's we got about a half hour left before we get into Major Wrestling. We can throw it in the chat, whatever you guys want to talk about. We'll get into some previews for Dynamite and NXT. But I think we've hit all the major news items. So this is the part. I mean, we haven't used this in a while, but whatever.
Such a good video. Such a good video.
It is great. It's beautiful. And so whatever you guys want to talk about, what's on your minds with professional wrestling? Chris says, oh, yeah, I was going to throw to Chris at the beginning. And, dude, I totally stepped over it. So let me go back to your –
You Craig that up, man.
Yeah. Totally.
Nice continuity there.
That's front row. That's front row that did that. I was just repeating what he said.
Did he say that?
Yeah, he said it earlier.
Props front row.
This is Chris's original question. What do you guys at This Is Pro Wrestling think about the Royal Rumble and with WWE having all these old wrestlers come back like Goldberg? How are you feeling about those things? I mean, it's two different questions, I guess, but I mean,
I was on a Mission Pro show last night. Some of our friends in the chat or regulars were in there as well. Tuesday nights, Mel on a Mission, great show, talking about one of the best promotions in the world, Mission Pro, all-female production out of Utah, Texas, featuring Thunder Rosa, Burt Dixon, Maddie Rinkowski, Rachel Rose, the great Jazz. And something along these lines came up, and I was making the point that we made before that I think in a promotion it's important to have legacy, and it's also important to have new blood. You know, it's important to have your foundation, and it's important to have those figures that are going to bring your promotion forward. So I think there's always a role for having your legends come back. I think they have a shared spotlight, and then there's also it's important to have that new blood that's going to bring the promotion forward into the next decade and so forth. So I'm not propositionally against it. I mean, I think it can be overplayed. I think most of the older talent don't want to overshadow. And if you're a really great person like a Ric Flair, you view your role as putting the new people over. Two of the people that do that better than anybody right now are Thunder Rosa and Nick Aldis. Nick Aldis and Thunder Rosa will elevate up-and-coming talent. They will make them look like $1 million. We just saw this the other day in Omaha, Nebraska, when Nick Aldis made Jason Strife look like Sting. He made him look like a superstar in the making, and he is. And so I think you got to have both. For a promotion to be really, really good and to speak to your whole demographic, you got to have some continuity. You got to reach backward and you got to look forward at the same time. So it's a balancing act.
My only problem with the legends, just to throw it in there, is that when you bring back a guy, Chris, like Ric Flair, I love Ric Flair. I'm a huge fan of Ric Flair, and will always think he's one of, if not the greatest professional wrestler of all time. And so I hate when they bring him. I hate seeing him back in the capacity he's back right now for a bunch of different reasons. Like, one is that considering the circumstances of the time we're in, he's an old man. And I mean that respectfully, but he should not just be in the middle of all this right now. It doesn't feel like. But if you're going to use him properly. They're not really letting him talk that much. And I mean, God, if you want to see Ric Flair, you want to see him cut a promo, right? And maybe he doesn't have all of that in him, but I'm also tired of seeing him fight with his daughter. And I'm just going to be really honest here. When I'm watching this, one of the things that comes to mind, and I am not trying to invoke any sort of what's the word I'm looking on? I ain't trying to curse nobody, but the man's old. The man's not going to be around forever. He's got more years in the rear view than he has in the windshield. So why screw around with it right now? Why get him caught up in some goofy ass angle that don't mean anything 10 years from now? Like, treat him just like he's Ric Flair. Treat him like a legend. Treat him every time he's on TV, it means something and it's special and important. That's that's my problem with him right now, really.
He's, I'd like to see Ric Flair do what Nick Aldis does on Fight TV. Ric Flair has got one of the greatest careers, some of the greatest ring knowledge. He's acquainted with everybody. I would love to see Ric Flair go on and do analysis, to be brought on as an expert to comment, to make predictions, to forecast, to analyze, rather than being involved in unbelievable storylines like what's going on right now. I mean, I'm not going to ever criticize Flair. Flair's been the guy that's always been willing to do whatever the company's asked of him, and he's trying to be a team player. But I would let Nick Aldis understands his position as a statesman and as a diplomat for the sport. He understands his role as the promotional head of state for the National Wrestling Alliance. And when they bring him on Fight TV to comment on, say, Mike Tyson versus Roy Jones, they're bringing him on as someone that understands combat sports. And I would love to see Ric Flair do that, because Ric Flair, again, like you said, Gary, he is the greatest of all time. People say arguably, like Triple H said, I want to hear the argument against it. He's the greatest of all time. He's got insight, wisdom. And at this point in his life and his career, this is when we want what we can benefit most from him is his wisdom and insight. So I would love to see him do more analysis, maybe even do some Fight TV stuff,
That's a great point.
I agree with all that. I think, I like having them present. I just think it gets mishandled a lot of times. Like I don't need to see Flair in storylines. I want to see him be the retired legend. You know what I mean? Like he carries that clout with him no matter what capacity he's on my TV. So I'd like to see him more in that kind of legend status versus, I'm here tagging along with this storyline.
Yeah, that's my whole thing is like, what, if the world ends right now, like who wants to see Ric Flair in this angle? Like it doesn't make sense. Like let's just treat Ric Flair like a legend and let's do it right. Like with the time we've got left, enjoying his presence on our screens. Like let's just elevate him. I would say the same, by the way, for that whole Legends night that WWE did with a guy like Mark Henry, for instance. Like, why treat him like a punk to Randy Orton? Like he's Mark Henry, make him command respect like he should have. People were threatened by Mark Henry. So anyway, just that's how I feel about the Legends. Now, the Royal Rumble, nothing can take away my excitement about the Royal Rumble. I think the Royal Rumble is very exciting. We keep teasing a pool, and I don't really know how to do it. Like, we were talking about doing it for money or prizes or something. But, maybe there's still time we think about it. But I did find the where is it? Did I just have it pulled up? The betting odds for Royal Rumble. I was just looking at that. For anybody who cares. Updated betting odds as of a couple of hours ago.
Randy Orton.
It is Randy Orton. No, Daniel Bryan is plus 125. So Daniel Bryan's got the highest odds. Keith Lee's next. Big E's after him. Brock Lesnar after him. And then Edge. Then Goldberg, who I don't even know is going to be in the Royal Rumble.
Has he declared?
Yeah. Rob and I were on the same page there.
Oh, man.
He's got to declare.
Yeah, got to declare. What's up, Frankie Pask? Thanks for joining us, buddy. We appreciate you being here. I don't know who's winning the Rumble. I always get excited about the Rumble, though, because it can be unpredictable. And when you do a pool, what's fun about that is if you draw random numbers and all of a sudden, I'm just telling you what I've done with friends in the past that I think we should do is in the past, we would get together. We can't do that now, but we would get together. We'd watch the Royal Rumble and you all toss in $1 or $5 and you get 5 picks and you toss the numbers all in a pot. Then you draw out your numbers. And so all of a sudden now you've got number 5 and it might be, I don't know, it might be Santino, but all of a sudden number 5, Santino, becomes your dude. and he is your pick to win the Royal Rumble, and you need him to win, so you get behind everything that Santino does in the match. It just makes it more exciting to me. Anyway. All right.
Yeah, I mean, we should do something, and we're going to do a watch-along, all right? We're going to do a watch party Sunday night.
Might as well. I'm watching it.
Yeah. I mean, we'll be watching it. It's the Royal Rumble. Like, it's one of the big four. So, I'll say this, too. I'm about to retweet a tweet. I don't know if you guys follow. Do you guys follow WrestleVotes?
I don't think I do.
WrestleVotes, I'm about to retweet this if you guys want to see it, but they tweeted out, when was this? 23 hours ago, so last night, and they notoriously have a lot of inside sources that turn out to be accurate. So it's dirt sheet-esque, but a little more reputable. But they said whoever was tweeting here said they had a brief conversation with a source regarding the men's Royal Rumble match, and they said, quote, "There's a finish that scares the death out of me, and it's legitimately getting heavy consideration." So I don't know what that means, but could be in for a crazy finish. So you talk about betting odds, but at the end of the day, you never know.
Weird. What does that mean?
I don't know, man.
Scares the death out of me.
Scares the death. I'm trying to think, is that coded? Is that coded language?
I mean, they've already burned somebody alive several times this year, so I don't know.
Scares the death. When you die, you become scrap.
Oh.
What is scarier? What is scarier than a tire iron?
And you iron your clothes.
Iron. It's Adam Pearce.
You know who irons her clothes? But executives.
The executives. And you know what they do? They get pierced. I just made that one.
We cracked the Omega code, man. We found the God particle, guys. Adam Pearce to win the Rumble.
Who is this WrestleVotes person? I'm looking at their stuff from January 22nd. Once the decision was made to run the 2-night card for Mania, the creative team started working on bigger ideas. Thought is WWE now needs 4 major matches, 2 per show. That probably requires outside assistance from big names. Cena and Goldberg are nearly locks. Rock, unlikely. Taker, TBD. Follow up on the Taker part. Majority of those backstage think he's done, and rightfully so. However, it only takes one call from one usually convincing man to change all of that.
That's his name. A convincing McMahon.
Junior.
Can it be?
Oh, man. Oh, Bobby Lashley could win and probably should win, Chris. I don't know.
Good point.
Is he going to lose the U.S. title to Matt Riddle? Because that match is happening at the Royal Rumble, I believe. Yeah. Bro.
Stop it.
Anyway.
There's a few people in the industry. We've never talked about this. There's just a few people in pro wrestling that I cringe, like, and this is no like judgment on his like performance or his like athletic ability, but Matt Riddle is just one of those guys for me. I don't know why. Maybe it hits too close to home to my college days, and I was friends with guys like that. I don't know, but the whole bro thing, flip flops, but I will say this though. I did not feel that way in NXT.
Yeah,
and
it's because
he got called up. Yeah, when he got called up, they like it's like a lot of times when guys get called up to Raw or SmackDown, they become like caricatures of their NXT character. Like I feel like to an extent, even Finn Balor, that happened with him. Like they become like the cartoon version of their like good character that they were in NXT. And I don't know, it's kind of disheartening. But he's one of those that just like, I was cool with him in NXT, and I think just because he he had the same persona, but they didn't like make him look like an idiot in his promos like they almost do now. Like, so I could still perceive him as like a legitimate. He was just like a badass stoner guy, you know, like. But now it's almost like he's the comedy relief for some reason. So,
well, it is. It's like Vince latches on to like one aspect of some character's personality, and they have to just really. He just like that's all a person can have. They have to be like really one dimensional, and so to him, it feels like Riddle is maybe his modern version of his RVD or something. It's just like it's just like real high all the time and obnoxious. And
Ricky bringing up Aleister Black. I'm still sore about that, man. Aleister Black was like my favorite in NXT.
I thought that dude was going to be the next Undertaker for a little while.
I did too, man. And I'm still bitter about them changing his music. I work out to his old music every morning. Like it's on my gym playlist every morning. His original NXT entrance theme. Whew, so good.
Yeah, it's very disappointing. I don't know what else to tell you about that. It's like Sami Zayn. Yes, Jedi. Sami Zayn is a clown right now. And Sami Zayn, did you see him in NXT? Like he is the most no hyperbole or whatever here. Sami Zayn could legitimately be the greatest babyface of his time. Like he could be. And it's like they just made him into just the most obnoxious MFer on the roster. Like he's just really, really obnoxious. I don't know. I can't stand him. But you know, Sami Zayn's good. Sami Zayn can wrestle. He does that with everybody. It's like they can only have one like character part to work with, and that's what they get. I don't know. Somewhere in there, stuff seeps through, like Roman Reigns getting to do what he does. Drew McIntyre seems like a real life person somehow. And the Hurt Business seemed cool. I like the Hurt Business. I think it's stupid that Cedric and Shelton argue as much as they do. Like they're, if you're watching Raw, but it just, anyway. All right, whatever. Let's talk about something else. Let's talk about tonight. Let's talk about tonight on the upcoming shows. You've got NXT coming up. That's going to be a decent one. I'm just going to go ahead and say this because it's a show is really how I feel about it. But the main event of that one, it appears, will be Finn Balor and Kyle O'Reilly teaming up to take on Danny Burch and Oney Lorcan. That's going to be a fun one. Those four guys can go. So there is that part. The other matches announced for this week are Kurt Stallion versus NXT Cruiserweight Champion Santos Escobar. If you're wondering who Kurt Stallion is, I think this might be his debut match. I'm not 100% sure about that. I've never heard of that guy. Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic quarterfinals. The Grizzled Young Vets take on Leon Ruff and Kushida. Men's other side of the men's quarterfinals is Drake Maverick and Killian Dane are taking on MSK. That should be fun. And women's Dusty Rhodes first round match: Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez versus Aaliyah and Jessie Kamea. Raquel Gonzalez and Aaliyah are going to win that match. That's what's going to happen there. And I can tell that this is big news because everybody's getting involved.
What'd you say?
Ricky Freezer, the Hurt Business, the closest thing to the Four Horsemen ever, in my opinion. But they're already breaking them up. I think that's what I'm talking about, dude. Yeah. I'm saying it seems like they're already like having Shelton and Cedric argue. And I'm like, why would you break them up now? Like right now, they could be the most dominant force in wrestling. They're kind of badass. Why would you do that? Anyway, let's see here. What else? Let's talk about AEW tonight. That'll get Will interested. Maybe Rob. Rob's over there effing around on his computer or something. I don't know what Rob.
if we start talking about books, he'll be like,
What?
They'll line up.
You talking about paper?
All right, tonight on the let's bring Will back in real quick. Tonight on AEW Dynamite, the preview says you'll get Darby Allin and Sting will address their street fight against Brian Cage and Ricky Starks. I guess that's been confirmed officially, right? At AEW Revolution.
Ooh.
A street fight.
I don't know why they'd be discussing it if it wasn't.
Yeah, that's a good point. I guess that. How do you feel about that, Will? I gotta ask. How do you feel about Sting? He is coming back for a match. Rob, too, for that matter. How do you feel about Sting? It's like we were debating it, and you thought like, well, maybe in time, but now, no, already Sting is in a match. Now it is a street fight. Clearly, they're going to use that as a way to protect him. I would imagine if it's not a cinematic match, it'll be close to one, right?
Probably. I feel okay about it. I feel optimistic about it. I feel that, well, I don't have a lot to base this on other than just sheer optimism that AEW would handle it in a smart way and not try to overdo it and, creatively, frame it in a way where Sting would not look like we just mentioned, the old man who can't still go. Even looking at like the Undertaker and AJ Styles in that Boneyard match, that was a perfect style of cinematic match to make Undertaker still look like he could go, right? I mean, he still looked badass and as much as I don't prefer a cinematic style match, I think with a guy like Sting, that's the way to go. I wanted to see Sting and Undertaker in a match like that, but so I hope they do it right, and I hope we don't come away from it saying, they shouldn't have done that. But I guess we'll see. If they said when that's going to be, or is it like Flash or whatever?
No, they said it would be at AEW Revolution, right? I think that's
okay. And that's in March, right?
Well, wait a minute. Let me bring that back up. Where is the thing I just brought up? Does it say? It doesn't say.
I guess we'll hear about it when they discuss it tonight.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll figure it out. The other stuff announced for tonight, you got Jon Moxley speaking about his Beach Break six-man tag. Yeah. He's teaming up with Pac and why did I forget the other name of the Lucha Brothers guy? Not Zero.
Phoenix.
Ray Phoenix. Yeah, he's teaming up with Pac and Ray Phoenix. Pentel Zero got injured by Kenny Omega, and so Mox is going to team up with those two guys, and they're taking on Kenny Omega and the Good Brothers at Beach Break, which honestly should be a pretty awesome match. He's going to speak about that tonight. You got Chris Jericho and MJF with Wardlow taking on the Varsity Blondes. That'll be a fun match. And you also have Hangman Page versus Ryan Nemeth. Look at that handsome young gentleman next to Hangman Page. Who does that look like?
Is that the guy from Harry Potter? The what's his name? The little Slytherin. Yeah, that's Draco, man.
It is not Draco Malfoy, but it is Dolph Ziggler's baby brother.
Okay,
Ryan Nemeth right there.
About to say, I thought that was the guy from Harry Potter, man.
Henry Potter. You also have Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, taking on Shanna. I saw her the other day on Dark. She was great.
Yeah, I love Shanna.
Shanna Montana. Look, man, we got to talk about this. We got to build up tonight, man. Go ahead.
Hold on one second. One more match. Then you got the AEW World Tag Team Champions, the Young Bucks, teaming with the Impact Tag Team Champions, the Good Brothers, taking on the Dark Order, Evil Uno, Stu Grayson, John Silver, and Alex Reynolds. That's going to be interesting, right?
Wow. Nice.
See the Young Bucks and the Good Brothers team up. Wonder how that's going to go. Yeah. All right.
The Young Brothers are the Good Bucks.
I wish that's what they should. Yeah.
I call them the good bucks. That's cool. That sounds cooler. Young Brothers doesn't sound right.
Bullet Club reunion, man. Founded by the real Nature Boy Paul Lee.
Yep. That's why you always see, I mean, him leaned into it. Where's his Bullet Club shirt, by the way? I just want to see his, I don't know, like a wooing Paul Lee face with like the guns behind him or something. And
Well, I don't know, but I'm gonna tell you what. When they do Talking Shopomania, the person that's trending is Paul Lee. They invite Paul Lee. They did the build up at his bar right down the road from here. When I say that is the truth, I'm not lying. Paul Lee is the founding father of the Bullet Club. That is the truth.
does he say that?
Yeah.
Let's get him on here. I'll get him on here right now. Get him on here right now. Let's talk to Paul. And Will's like, no, don't get anybody on here. It's time to go.
750.
We gotta look, man.
don't get Paul.
This would be on brand
here right now.
Right on time. Right on time. Whiskey Gary
this would
shows
be
up.
on brand.
Right on
Do it.
time.
Yeah,
Whiskey
I
Gary
mean,
arrived.
you guys give us like heck about being a few minutes late, but we always go way over. So you get more than you bargained for. So
One day, if Gary ever gets sober, it's gonna be on time, all the time.
Yeah. That would be terrible.
It'll just be Rob talking about books the whole time.
And today,
I got a new book about the Civil War.
we'll be analyzing the Frank Gotch Tom Jenkins 9-match series in between 1903 and 1908. Let's begin.
Whiskey Gary shows up and says, "Rob, cricket strap match, go!" Rhode Island, neither a road nor an island. Will go.
What do you say to that?
You don't say nothing, man. He just don't say nothing.
Just let it go.
Bob Ross of books. Craig Lee is asking for next week's special guest to be the Nature Boy, Paul Lee. Please
make it happen. Bob will make it happen.
I can get it. Hey, it'll be Sunday. I can get him on Sunday.
During the Rumble?
Oh, shoot. You're right. You're right.
I'm always right.
Oh, yeah. You can't get him on. Right. He's going to be number 30.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of that, I know another thing I want to talk about.
How dirty he's talking. Look at this guy. Is Whiskey Gary doing commentary for the strap-on match?
I see what he did. I see what he did with that. I see the innuendo.
Hey,
that's sexual in the window right there.
Hey, Ryan Romano as my witness. Front Row broke kayfabe last night.
What?
He broke kayfabe last night. Ryan Romano as my witness. And that's all I'm going to say because I don't know he wants me telling people that. And I respect Front Row like a brother. So, but kayfabe was broken last night. I'm just going to say.
Wow. Dark times, man.
Hey, extreme times call for extreme measures.
And extreme rules.
How we get Front Row breaking kayfabe on a mission? One day. That's the goal. That's the real goal. So one day make money doing this, but also to get Front Row to break character on this show.
Hey, just so you know, at the beginning of the show, before we did the 1,000 follow promotion, I was at 702 followers. And now I'm at 701 followers.
You guys aren't understanding the concept. You guys are not getting it. You're supposed to follow him.
Did I put if we can make Rob lose 1,000 followers? Is that
if we can get Rob down? If we can get him down to 500. If we can get him down to 500. We'll also do a giveaway. Everyone wins. Maybe it's because they deleted their Twitter to go over to TikTok and follow you there.
That's it. That's it.
Oh, I was going to say something else about the Rumble. So
I don't
know if you guys knew this, but they're bringing back WWE Backstage, right, on FS1 or whatever. The show that CM Punk was on, and there's all kind of rumors about that too, or about Punk showing up because he tweeted that he was quarantining for a job. So everybody's speculating that means he's going to be at the Rumble. But in order, their ploy to get people to watch WWE backstage when they're bringing it back is they're going to announce on there who the first 2 entrants of the women's Royal Rumble are and the number 30 entrant of the men's Royal Rumble. And that,
why would you do that? That would be a thing that if we were on the show right now and somehow, some way, Nick Aldis had leaked to us from Mickey James who number 30 in the men's Royal Rumble was going to be, and we told you people, you guys would lose your freaking minds. You
would never tell y'all.
Shit. You'd be like, why would you say that? Nobody wants to know who number 30 is.
But and they did this a couple years ago. You remember when they had the mixed match challenge or whatever, mixed tag challenge, and the deal was whoever won that would be number 30 in each Rumble. And I remember watching that with some buddies of mine. This was before I knew y'all. I had other buddies before y'all. Sorry about that. But I remember watching it with them, and we were just like, oh, this is so great. And, the buildup of the Rumble is so cool because it's like every time the counter goes, you're like, who's it going to be? Is it going to be a surprise? And it's like it got to number 30, and we were just kind of like, oh, yeah. Because we already knew who it was going to be. Wasn't it like Finn Balor? Or I can't remember who won that.
Was it the one where Rey Mysterio came out instead of Daniel Bryan?
Oh, no. I don't remember. But the fact is, knowing number 30 is so counterintuitive, I think. I mean, it's supposed to build up the whole time. So. Well, Gary's left.
I'll be back.
Yeah.
Oh, we're having toy time now because Rob got his belt out. So now Gary's got
it. Was just on my chair. I just picked it. I didn't mean to start something. I just literally just picked it up.
I moved my box with all my toys in it, so I don't have anything.
So, anyway.
No, it's cool, guys.
Now what?
Oh, yeah. Does yours have one of these on it?
We're not going to get that close on mine.
Does yours have one of those on it?
I got my fanny pack. Does your belt have this on it?
What's that say? Jansport? Is that a Jansport?
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Jansport. You don't got a Jansport. You got some big belt.
Oh, what? What's going to happen now? Does your belt have a whole entire
arena inside it?
Yeah. Does it have the whole TNA Impact Zone inside of it? Because mine does.
Dang it, Tanya. This freaking gift sucks.
I'll take it.
TNA, baby. TNA.
Does your belt have Listerine breath strips in it? No.
Oh, yeah. That's a good point. That's a good point.
Does it have eye drops? No. All right. Well, we're done.
This is the show winding down. Rob's bringing up his Darth Vader mug.
And my dang it. Oh.
Does it ever bother you guys when champions hold up the belt and they hold it up upside down?
Yes.
It always drives me nuts.
I'll tell you what bothers me is when they hold up the 10 pounds of gold and the doggone globe is falling off.
Oh, well, that's happened
trying
too.
To forget that.
Yeah.
Those were rough times. Actually, those were good times.
Those were great times. Great times.
God, wow, that was a turn.
Ryan, I'm glad you're having fun, buddy.
Yeah.
Does Rob have a Aldous comforter and sheet set?
Oh yeah.
Do they make those?
He's unveiling it.
Yeah.
The pegboard of destiny.
I'm tired of the green screen, man.
Do you guys has anybody else here besides myself tried out legacy supplements? Anybody in the chat? Because I've been trying them out. I've been exercising every day.
How do you feel?
Hey, warn them about what not to take at bedtime, though. Because this joke was blowing me up all night.
What are you talking about?
You know what I'm talking about, man. The part of your supplement.
The Test X9
Don't take it at nighttime.
Just it'll be hard to sleep, if I could say. You know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying, Will. It's a testosterone booster. Anyway, actually, no, you do take that one at night. But you don't take the pre-workout late. I heard that, but also there's one called I forget all the names. We'll get it for you. We got to start pushing this stuff. Dr. Rob is my favorite YouTube character. I love that. Dr. Rob's my favorite YouTube characters too.
Oh,
he's my 8th favorite YouTube character.
Anyway, thank you guys so much for hanging out with us. We are grateful for you all being here. Please share it out with your friends. Tell them to come subscribe to the channel. Chris, we will hit you up. Thanks so much for being here for your first time. Chris, Wrestling Views. You guys see his Twitter in there. Chris, WV9. Go give him a follow. Thank you so much for being a part of this. Chris, if you go look at our Twitter at the pinned tweet, it is a link to our Discord. You got to go join up with the Discord. You can participate in all kinds of wrestling talk, including stuff that I wish I hadn't gotten involved in, like today. But you can join, and we'd love to have you there as part of the hashtag WrestleFam or hashtag NWA Fam. Thanks for being here with us. This is Will Martin. This is Dr. Stinson. This is Gary Horde. The show is at TIPW Pod. TIPW Show. I am so sorry. And anything else I'm missing? NWAFam.com gets you to our merch store, or TIPshow.com, I guess, is more accurate.
All of them. We have
all of them.
There's 3 ways to get to our website. That's our website is about as accessible as MLW on TV.
That
you can type in.
Right.
You can type in TIPWshow.com. You could type in the NWApod.com, or you could type in NWAfam.com. All roads lead to our website. So it's just your preference.
We should just get thisisprowrestling.net and make that go straight to the blog. And
let's just get all the websites.
All the websites will be ours. Anyway, so come hang out with us.
WhiskeyGary.org.
I'm gonna have to eventually get that, I think. I mean, maybe this is not a bad idea. Maybe I get like free whiskey.
Maybe you could start reviewing. Yeah, dude, you could start a channel as Whiskey Gary. You could start reviewing, whiskeys. They probably send you some free stuff.
Well, I'm going on that channel too, man. If you do that, I'm going with you.
All right, let's do it.
Well, that's
Eddie
Rum
Kingston versus Lance Archer is the first match on Dynamite. You guys go watch Dynamite or NXT if that is your preference. We will see you here on Sunday night for the Royal freaking Rumble. We're going to be here hanging out with you. We can't wait. Hope to see you guys soon. Until next time, though.